Everybody in town said he was the harmless one, the guy you trust to watch your kids. Then police opened his shed door. Plainfield, Wisconsin, around 700 people. Everyone knew Eddie, the shy handyman who fixed your fence, babysat your kids, and never raised his voice. Today, you'll find out how one woman's voice built the most disturbing mind in American history, what police found inside that farmhouse, and the scrap of paper that caught him. The strangest part isn't what he did, it's why he thought he was doing it. Ed was born in 1906. Two people shaped him, and only one counted. His father, George, was a drunk who couldn't hold a job. Ed's mother said daily that he was worthless, and Ed believed her. His mother, Augusta, ran the store, ran the family, ran everything. Religious in the harshest way you can imagine. In 1915, she bought a 150-acre farm outside Plainfield and moved everyone there on purpose, not for the soil, for the distance. Every day she read Ed and his older brother Henry the Old Testament, sticking to the parts about death, punishment, and sin. Her message never changed. Every woman on earth was rotten, except her. Wanting anything, especially a woman, sent you to hell. And the only person who'd ever love him was sitting right there. Ed had no friends. His mother pulled him out of anything social at school. He grew up in a house where the only voice was hers. His father died in 1940 from the drinking. In 1944, a brush fire broke out on the farm. Ed and Henry went to fight it. Ed came back alone. He told the search party he had no idea where his brother was, then walked them straight to the body. Henry had bruises on his head, and the ground around him wasn't burned. The county called it smoke suffocation and closed the file. Henry was the only person who ever criticized their mother in front of Ed. In 1945, Augusta had a stroke and died. Ed was 39, alone in a big empty farmhouse, and in his own words, he'd lost his only friend and his one true love. That's when it started. Ed boarded up his mother's parlor and bedroom and never went back in. Those rooms stayed spotless for 12 years, while the rest of the house rotted around him. He lived in one small room off the kitchen, reading cheap magazines about cannibals and headhunters, with anatomy books stacked by the bed. And at night, he took a shovel to the local cemeteries. Ed later admitted to around 40 night trips through 3 graveyards near his home. He read the obituaries first, so he knew who'd just been buried. He was hunting a type, middle-aged women who looked like his mother. Some nights he'd snap out of a daze, standing over an open grave, and walk home with nothing. Here's the part nobody expects. He wasn't collecting souvenirs, he was building a suit, a wearable suit, made of skin, so he could put it on and walk the farm at night. He wanted to become his mother. Graves gave him pieces, they couldn't give him a fresh one. November 16th, 1957, deer season opened, and the town emptied out. Bernice Warden, who ran the hardware store, vanished. Blood on the floor, cash register gone. Her son, Frank, was a deputy sheriff. He checked the sales slips. The last one written that morning was a gallon of antifreeze sold to Ed Gein. Frank also remembered Ed asking days earlier if he'd be out hunting that Saturday. Police drove to the farm and found Bernice in the shed, shot with a .22 and then strung up and cut open the way a hunter dresses a deer. Inside the house was the rest: bowls, masks, chair covers, clothing, all made from human remains. 9 preserved faces, and in a paper bag the face of Mary Hogan, a tavern owner who vanished 3 years earlier. Ed confessed to both women. Everything else, he said, came from the graveyards. Doctors ruled him unfit for trial in 1957. He spent 11 years in a hospital before facing a judge in 1968. The verdict? Guilty of murder and legally insane in the same breath. The diagnosis was schizophrenia, but the psychology underneath is sadder than any horror movie. He never processed his mother's death. He tried to undo it. The skin suit wasn't about sex. Doctors asked. He said he never touched the bodies that way because they smelled bad. He'd been taught the outside world was filthy and his mother was the only clean thing in it. When she died, he rebuilt her from the only material he had. Now, the stuff most people get wrong. He wasn't technically a serial killer. He confessed to 2 murders. Most definitions need 3. He probably wasn't a cannibal. He denied it, and nothing ever proved it. The rumor stuck anyway. He handed out venison to neighbors. He also said he'd never shot a deer in his life. His IQ was average. No mastermind, no genius. The farmhouse burned down in 1958, weeks before it was due to be auctioned. Arson, never solved. Ed shrugged and said it was just as well. His car sold for $760 to a carnival owner who charged people a quarter to look at it. Hospital staff called him gentle and polite. He was a model patient for the rest of his life. Ed died in 1984 at 77 and was buried next to his mother. Tourists chipped at his headstone for years until someone stole the whole thing in the year 2000. It turned up a year later and was never put back. Writer Robert Bloch lived 35 miles away when the story broke. He wrote Psycho, then came Leatherface, then Buffalo Bill's skin suit, In the Silence of the Lambs, 3 of the most famous monsters in film, all from one lonely man who couldn't let go of his mom. This is Minds of History, where we take the people who shaped the past and dig into what was going on inside their heads. Subscribe and post in the comments who we should dissect next. See you in the next one.